Everything in the physical is perfect. You've achieved everything you've wanted. You've manifested it. Well done. It's all here. What now? Why do you still feel a pull? Everything's here. You've made it. It's amazing. You never thought you could, but you did. There's the story arc. The movie on the screen has played out. What a beautiful story arc. What now? Why do I still feel an emptiness, nagging, gnawing away at me? Why? Why do you think? Welcome back to the Void Compass. I'd like to start today off by asking, why are you here? What is the reason you are incarnate in this physical experience right here, right now? When is the last time you considered this question? Why is it important to consider this? To question it? To touch base with it? What is your primary motivational mechanism when you start your day, you wake up, you find yourself awake, you've had your dreams, you've slept. Suddenly you're up, instantly flooded by the first thoughts of the day. Your mind rapidly darts from topic to topic to topic to topic, introducing concepts and ideas, maybe some fears, maybe the seeking of immediate pleasure in the form of your early morning coffee. At what point do you take stock of the real reason you are having this experience? I will tell you why this is so important. It is so easy to lose track of the real reason you are here, to be distracted. The human mind is the master of this, because the human mind can only ever see a very simple motivational mechanism. Take me towards pleasure and take me away from pain. And it has a multitude of ways to accomplish this, with or without your conscious consent. It functions on autopilot. It knows exactly what it would like to experience and what it hates experiencing. And it does a very fine job, especially in an unaware individual, to guide you down these pre-planned walkways and to ensure that it has its needs met. Now, it does so innocently, isn't some nefarious being that is, depicted as this puppet master. There is a childish innocence to the mind. But just because it has a childish innocence doesn't mean it is not destructive. Just look around you, look at the state of the world. Look at the challenges that we face as a collective, and look at the challenges you face in your individual life. If you compared, side by side, during this incarnation alone, the time that you have spent feeling pleasure, versus the time you have spent suffering, which side of the scale do you think you would be leaning on? Such is identification with person consciousness. Identifying with the wants, needs, expectations, desires, judgments, ideas, ideologies of the person. And what I would like you to consider is another way to go about your experience. One where you are not a victim of the trappings of this very basic primal motivational mechanism. One which allows you a perspective to be able to view this mechanism for what it is, to rise above it and beyond it, and connect to the real reason why you're here in this lifetime. And I guarantee you, I'm willing to stake the very few possessions that I have on it, that it is not the pursuit of your desired manifestations. It is not the pursuit of your pleasures, the pleasurable sensations, whether it be eating food you like, being in a relationship with someone and experiencing the positive chemicals that arise in your mind-body complex when you're around them. It isn't the pursuit of sex. It's none of those things. Those things are transient, and they only exist within the realm of mind-based consciousness, within the realm of illusion, that I am urging you to wake up out of. And the reason why I urge you to do this is because I want you to be free. You cannot remain focused on this illusory idea of what life is and expect to be free. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot endlessly seek in the external world and throw your awareness and attention outside of you horizontally towards various objects, outcomes, and desires, attaching to them, and then expect to be happy, peaceful, complete, and free. If you say that's what you want, and I presume that is what you want because you're here, you could be anywhere else, and I mean anywhere else, but you're choosing to listen to my voice and be on this channel because you sense there is potentially a pathway to a freer way of being which does not involve consistent attachment and resultant suffering. At a certain point in your path, your evolution as a soul, when you've come up from childhood, all the perpetrations that have occurred upon you, your childhood traumas, your past experiences that have shaped the person that sits before me today. At a certain point, you start evolving beyond that, desiring a more open and holistic perspective on what life is and what your purpose is within it. And this requires something of you. It requires a type of precision, a precision of your consciousness. It requires you to become more aware more critical, not in the negative sense, not in judgment and criticizing. That's something that the mind does. We're not interested in that. That's just the mind coming in through the back door. But a fair, balanced, critical perspective on how you are carrying yourself throughout your every now moment. It requires you to sacrifice your pursuit of everything you think you wanted so that you can have everything that is truly designed for you. And this is not easy to hear. Not to the mind, that has spent its entire life going without the things it says it wants. And of course, the mind does not understand the simple fact that the reason why it wants what it wants is because it comes from a place of lack. For every desire, there is an equal and commensurate pain that informs it. They are inextricably linked. They always will be. And I'm not talking about a soul calling. I don't call that desire. That pull that you feel deep within you, leading you back to the realization of your divinity. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I want this desire in the external because I want to feel better. That is the balm to my wound. That is enslavement. That is a pair of shackles, binding your wrists and your ankles together and ensuring that you remain stuck in that place, unable to evolve further, unable to taste the freedom of who you actually are beyond the illusion. And you will never be free holding on to that. And this is why I stress, let go of everything you thought you ever wanted. Get rid of it. Believe me, you don't need it. It's not as good as you think it is. The mind has done an amazing job at convincing you otherwise. And you sit there and you pedestalize that experience above all else. Above the real reason why you came here in this lifetime. And I guarantee you it has nothing to do with the pursuit of these desires you say you want to manifest. Caveat here that I always need to place in my videos. That does not mean you live a life of exclusion and that you cannot have those experiences. But do not seek them out. Get rid of the seeking. For believe me when I tell you this, all you are ever seeking is God. It's that simple. And the more you are identified with your mind, you will not be able to tell that your seeking is the seeking for God. Because the mind doesn't understand the word God. It is an abstract concept without qualities, without properties that your eye can measure and match. If you think of a potential romantic partner, it is so easy for the mind to fixate. It's a tangible prospect. I can imagine what the skin would feel like underneath my fingers. What the scent of that person would be, the warmth of their body, the sound of their voice. Your senses are engaged. But then you hear me say, you're seeking the divine. You're seeking the presence of God in your life, and the mind says, that's not for me. That's too lofty. I don't understand that. That's too abstract. With every fiber of my being, believe me when I tell you, this is not the case. The love, the sense of peace, the sense of connection that you feel at the foothills of the mountain, that is the divine, that never-ending mountain, is so overwhelming, it will make everything within your physical reality pale in comparison. It will flatten it. It will make it seem wafer thin. This is why I say, once you have a direct experience, that vertical experience with your true nature, which is being part of the divine, you cannot go back to desiring things in the external world anymore. Because you've seen and known too much. You felt too much. You were held in that suspended state of pure peace, awareness and knowledge of who you are. A controlled bliss that pervaded every part of your field. And then someone comes and tells you, you have to care about this circumstance manifesting in your life. What do you think you will say? But smile and nod, knowing how futile any attempt at external seeking is, at matching what the divine has for you in this now moment, if you will, but turn your gaze upwards. Let's come back to the first question I asked you today. Why are you here? What is your purpose? Be honest with yourself. What do you believe it is? Don't tell me what I want to hear. Don't tell me fancy words or notions you think that will sound palatable. What is it? That deep spiritual relationship you have fantasized about since you were a child? What is it? Power over others? Treasures of a worldly nature? What is it that is your purpose? Why do you think you are here? What if it has nothing to do with anything outside of you? What if it is simply true self-realization? Realizing who you actually are beyond the veil, waking up to that, and then sharing that with others. To alleviate collective suffering. That despite the fact we are in an illusion, a perfect, seamless illusion, we are still within a collective of consciousness. We are all God waking up in form, depending on one another to guide each other home. So what do you think you're here for? To sit there and have your little relationship and your comfortable money in the bank account and the pleasurable things at the end of the day, gatherings with friends and the holiday trips, the selfie photos on Instagram. What then? What happens when somebody clicks their fingers, who has the power and agency to do so, and you suddenly have all of those things that you think you truly desire, the things that are perturbing you so every single day, that you stake your whole existence on, bending like a plant desperately bending its leaves and stalk towards the sun. What happens then when you have all of those things within your grasp, part of your regular life experience? Now you do not have any financial issues. Now you have a wonderful partner. You have incredible sex. You have incredible companionship. What then? Consider it. Usually we don't let ourselves think that far because we think, well, that's a long way away. I'll think about that when I get there. No, think about it now. Think about it right now. What happens then? What happens to the pull? That sacred pull within you. Everything in the physical is perfect. You've achieved everything you've wanted. You've manifested it. Well done. It's all here. What now? Why do you still feel a pull? Everything's here. You've made it. It's amazing. You never thought you could, but you did. There's the story arc. The movie on the screen has played out. What a beautiful story arc. What now? Why do I still feel an emptiness, nagging, gnawing away at me? Why? Why do you think? Come back to the question. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Why are you here? To play in the illusion? Or to remember yourself as the divine? To expand well and beyond the confines of the physical illusion. Nothing will satisfy that urge. I guarantee you, nothing. And I prefer to shatter this illusion for you now, here today, and have you hate me for it, or cry your eyes out desperately because you feel robbed of your hopes and dreams. But I'd rather that and you be free than anything else. I only speak of what I know. I don't talk about anything I don't have direct experience with. I don't, because it would be useless to you. And I wouldn't be able to know how to talk about it. You can only fake things for so long before people catch on. Nothing will replace that. Accept that now, consider it now, and then apply that to your life now. Notice your motivations. Notice what you are still holding onto desperately. Be aware. What am I still holding? What am I hoping for? What am I holding out for? What am I staking my happiness on? Why am I still holding on to this? Why do I need this? And the answer will always be, because my mind tells me so. Because the person that I have falsely identified that I am tells me so. Because I believe the movie character on the screen and not the awareness watching the movie. Please understand, this is not some deep philosophical concept. some abstract thing that you can't get. That is another bullshit ploy from the mind to tell you, that's not for me. We're on a great track. You've made progress. We're headed towards all of our desires. Trust me. That's wrong. You absolutely have the power to pause that movie. Take a deep breath, pull back, pull in your reality, and see life for what it is. Not as the person, but as the awareness viewing the experience. The awareness that exists outside of time and space, that does not exist within a human body, that isn't centered in a human body, that does not have a location, an omnipresent awareness that cannot help but always be aware and existing. And try as hard as you may, you can never not be aware. You can shut down all your senses. You can go into a sensory deprivation tank if you want. I don't care. You'll still be aware that you're in a sensory deprivation tank. Because awareness has nothing to do with your physical senses. And if awareness is what you truly are, why do we spend so much time appealing to our physical senses, to our physical bodies, seeking pleasure, seeking comfort, and seeking to cater to the mind-body complex that we but inhabit for a short period of time for the purpose of continued learning and soul expansion? It comes down to the same thing. I want what I want, and I don't want to ask why I want it. I never want to question, I just want it. Make it be so. I will do everything to make it be so because that is the only time I believe I will ever be happy. No, you won't. No, you won't. No, you won't. I want you to recognize that your happiness has nothing to do with the outside world. It never will. Your life situation could be exactly the same tomorrow, but you could be an entirely different experience. With all the same problems and the challenges and the specific scenarios contingent with your personal experience. Not one thing could change. And you could experience deep peace and bliss. And now when that happens, try to find yourself caring about that partner who never texted you back. But you're supposed to be together. You just know it. You just know it. Who knows it? What ideology is that? Who said? Who's convinced you of this? But you suffer. You cry. You beg. And I say this not in a derogatory, judgmental way, but from a place of love. I know this suffering. I have not been exempt from it. I've lived, breathed, and bled it. And that is precisely what makes my mission all the more pertinent. I cannot stay silent. I will not. I don't care if this tanks my entire channel. Because I don't care about external circumstances. I care about giving you the truth as I know it. If I have found any modicum of freedom, should I not want to share that with anyone who wants to listen? Absolutely. And that's why I'm here. The seeking must end for you to be free. The seeking must end for you to be free. The seeking must end for you to be free. There is no other way. None. Let go of who you think you are. Piece by piece or all at once, I don't care, but let go of it all until nothing remains. And there is only empty space. For when there is empty space, who will come and reside within you but your true nature, the divine, God? And then will you question, will you fear, will you doubt, will you expect, will you attach? No, because you are complete. And you are free to be exactly as the divine would have you be. And there is no greater beauty, there is no greater experience than that. For that is when you are truly useful to the collective, to life. That is when you are perfect. When you don't look up at the skies and beg for clarity, which really is control. Please tell me, what do you need me to do? Why isn't this working? Been there, done that, for a long time. That's not needed because you are being guided. That river of your life is flowing effortlessly, with or without your consent. Please understand, these are not lofty concepts. Do not allow your mind to ascribe a false meaning to the words I say. This is applicable to your life. I am telling you, let go of all of your desires, expectations, renounce everything. Renounce your attachment to them. Be okay with or without them. Be okay with knowing that maybe you will never ever have a partner again. I'm not saying you won't, but be okay with it. If that's what the divine wants of you, who are you to argue? Comes down to, why are you here? Are you here to fulfill your personal will? The will of a human mind-body complex? Or are you here on the bidding of an intelligence so much more pervasive, so much higher, so much more complete than your own? I'm going to leave this with you. If you are struggling with this process, if you don't know how to do this, if it seems too lofty and confusing and you are struggling, I am here to help you. You can reach out to me. Beyond the comments that I read all of them and I answer all of them to the best of my ability, you know that I offer one-to-one sessions, and I'm happy to connect with you and guide you further. All the information is in the video description. But I am going to leave it here. And I will see you next time on The Void Compass with more.